Necromancy releases on August 7th, so a statement I made a couple videos ago is a bit silly. I highly doubt Necromancy will release in August, but I'm unflappable because I have a secret. Last time we ended with 117 Herblore and 118 Slayer, but what I neglected to tell you is on what date that footage was recorded, all prior to June 12th. I'm literally sitting on over 2 weeks worth of footage that hasn't made it into a video, at least not until today. Using 75 Viswax every day does sting a bit, but it's more than worth it to see those chunky XP drops. 118 Herblore from a daily challenge, unlocking both the Blessed Flask, a grind I'm not really excited to do, and the +2 version of the Powerbursts of Feats. I had a few hundred summoning potions waiting to be converted into Powerbursts, but I knew I'd need a lot more primal extracts. The stock in my bank was dwindling, so I got to work making the alchemical pink slime. You can get something like 250,000 Herblore XP per hour doing this, so I've heard. I've never actually tested it. You also turn a profit if you're a main. There's certainly better ways to make money that allow you to get more Herblore XP per hour, efficiency and all that, but efficiency don't matter all too much on an iron. Gotta make what you gotta make no matter how slow it is. A break from Herblore brings me back to Slayer, tearing through Kadarn Elves until they respect me enough to grant me a fancy new title. The last title I needed for the Elven titles comp requirement. Only 3 things left: 120 Herblore, 120 Slayer, and Music Maestro, which is just one music track, the Pirates of Penance track, which you unlock by fighting the Penance Queen in Barbarian Assault or the Penance King. I've killed probably 4,000 Ripper Dinos a bit ago, all on task, and it was pretty easy once I realized Animate Dead reduced the damage of the bleed. Then Jagex nerfed Animate Dead. The bleed is typeless, so Animate Dead no longer affects it, making Rippers more effort than they're worth. You used to be able to out-heal them with Vampirism and Animate Dead, but now you can't. So we've moved on to a different dinosaur. Brutish dinosaurs, like all dinosaurs, drop laceration boots, but at the same rate as Rippers, 1 in 2,000 while on task. Off task, it's 1 in 8,000 for all dinosaurs. Unlike Ripper dinosaurs, Brutish dinosaurs don't do enough damage to outcompete the heals from Vampirism if you have Protect or Deflect melee on. I didn't think of this at the time, but I should have tried an Animate Dead poison build against these guys. Animate Dead might provide enough damage mitigation for a Soul Split instead of Deflect melee, and since you'd be healing more, a Blood Reaver would be even stronger. The tank armor might have out DPS the power armor at that point. I have no idea why I never thought to try that. Honestly though, I wouldn't recommend Brutish dinosaurs if you're grinding out Slayer. Sure, they give 3,100 Slayer XP each, but venomous dinosaurs are better in my opinion. We'll talk about that later in the video when we're actually killing them. Whoops. Here's a little something to break up the grind. There's an achievement, Order of Slayers, that requires you to get and complete a task from every Slayer Master in order, from Turiel to Laniakea. At the time, I figured it'd be best to knock this achievement out before 120 so all that XP would be useful. Now remembering what the 120k perk is, sometimes being able to choose your task, it probably would have been better to wait. Oh well. Spria wants us to kill Crawling Hands. Easy enough. If you're confused why this is Spria and not Turiel, Turiel went to a farm up north in the wilderness, where Lucian killed him. What do you got for us, Jackie? Cows? No problem. I'm still of the opinion that they should have made Jackie a ham member. Vanica can give some awful tasks. Please, something decent. Ah, cockroaches. The only place you could find them is in the Stronghold of Player Safety, and you know what? I have a story about this place. Gather round, children. Let JBN regale you with tales of his youth. So, years and years ago, before I saw Beyond the Cosmic Facade, 2009-ish, I spent a lot of time hanging out in the Zybez Ventrilo. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. It was before your time. If you do know what that is, make sure you sit up straight. You know how your back gets. Anyway, there was also this other software called Manycam. We called it Manycam back then. I don't know why. It's clearly Many, but we said Many. It still exists, but I doubt many people use it. So there was about 4 or 5 of us who would use Manycam. See, I'm still doing it. Manycam to share our game screens. Why? I don't know. We just thought it was cool, I guess. There was one of us who was free to play. He had never been a member before, and he was committed to getting 99 strength before buying membership. Mind you, this guy had like 3 Halloween mask sets, and they were valuable back then too. Not in the billions, but inflation and all that. He could have become a member, sold those masks, and have been decked out in the best gear available in an afternoon. But he was stubborn. In this place, the Stronghold of Player Safety was where he sometimes trained. Usually it was flesh crawlers in the Stronghold of Security, but sometimes he left one dungeon full of low poly bugs to go to another dungeon full of slightly higher but still low poly bugs. So one day he had Manycam streaming his game screen, he was on Ventrilo with us, normal stuff. And he said, as monotone as you could imagine, "Hey, did you guys know Dragonstones can drop in free to play?" Obviously we didn't believe him, but he told us to look at his screen, and there it was, an uncut Dragonstone sitting in his inventory. We were baffled losing our shit because we knew Dragonstones were members items. Did he finally cave and buy membership? Was there a rare glitch? Did we stumble upon a 1 in a billion drop? No, all no. See, if you take a ruby and drag it over a sapphire, it turns purple. Dude was screwing with us. That's it. I don't know if that story was entertaining, but maybe sharing my happy memories helped knock a couple loose for you. And if this story sounds familiar to you and you think you're the person I'm talking about, just know I still think of you. I still think of all you guys, wherever you are. Alright, Mazkina, give me something good. Pyrofiends? Yeah, fine, that's okay. Cheldar can give some garbage tasks. Firewatch? Really? That's, would anyone with Vires unlocked even get tasks from Cheldar? Well, I guess that's easy enough. Simona will give me Kurasks. You know what? Sure. I still need a Kurask head for my drop log. It's pretty rare whether on or off task, but this is a good enough excuse to kill them. From Lapalok, we get Dark Beasts or Fungal Magi. The Magi would probably be faster, so I'll just build a Magi. Now, Kuradel, Jungle Strikeworms. Well, I do need a soul. Yeah, alright, but only the minimum amount. Morvaran wants me to kill Necreal. Man, I always forget about these guys. Pretty sure 90% of the Necreal I've killed is when that one on top of Slayer Tower wanders a bit too close to my Abyssal Demon AoE space. I need one of their souls, so why not? And we got it. Nice. Mandrith wants me to kill 100 Onyx Dragons. Sure. They're not my favorite task, but at least the XP is decent, and their special attack isn't all that bad. It's like 4,000 damage and they heal a bit. Compared to the Dragonstone ones, depleting your anti-fire protection, and the Hydrix ones, hamstringing your adrenaline, I'd say Onyx Dragons are pretty tame. By the way, if you want to get this achievement for yourself, make sure you begin after your task streak hits a multiple of 10. There are 11 masters, but the first one doesn't affect your task streak. So when you work your way back up to Laniakea, the task she gives you will give you bonus Slayer points for being an N times 10th task. And this time around, she wants me to kill some Ascension members. I still got 5 Capsarii in my pyramid, so let's do that. And with the recent changes to area loot, I can actually loot everything in the room without having to be on mobile. It was at this point I decided to start tracking my loot, sorta, because I was 199 away from 120 Slayer. That is about 13,034,000 XP away. I was curious what the loot would look like, but because I didn't want to take inventory of my entire bank and track the most minuscule of herbs and seeds, I just deposited my cash stack and kept track of that. How much raw gold and salvage would I get from the 8th time getting 99 Slayer? See, every 7 levels doubles the amount of XP you need, so the XP from 1 to 99 is the same as the XP from 99 to 106. 106 to 113 is the same as 1 to 106. 113 to 120 is the same as 1 to 113. So 120 is effectively the same amount of XP as 899s. I would have made this the focus of the video if the loot ended up being interesting. It's not really. Wow, I got this much gold by killing things that drop gold. I mean, who really cares? It would have been more interesting if I thought further ahead, but I didn't, so it's not. It's always when I don't have my replay buffer running that interesting things happen. Battle combination. That's cool. And an offhand Demon Slayer crossbow. The gloves would be nice for master clues. What's always frustrated me about killing most Vile Blooms, specifically Lampenflora, was how spaced out they are. It always made looting them difficult since they're quite literally rooted in place. But I discovered if you stand on this spot right here with a Lorehound familiar summoned, increasing your area loot size, your area loot can reach each of the 4 loot piles left by these 4 Lampenflora. If you have a bunch of Scrimshaws of Aggression lying around, and if you kill the giant mimic you will, you can just sit here and let the plants do all the work. The Scrimshaw causes only 1 to aggro you, and by the time you finish one off, another one's already spawned. All you have to do is press your loot key bind every so often, maybe eat a piece of food if you're getting low. It's a high-level Slayer task that's safe and frees up one of your hands to do other things, like editing videos to upload to www.youtube.com. I'm at Desert Strikeworms. Laniakea gave me a Strikeworm cluster task and I needed a Desert Strikeworm soul, so I came here. I didn't get the soul, but this was task 1776, just in time for the 4th of July. That's American Independence Day for those who are outside of the US. We're already past the 4th, but that doesn't mean local jackasses aren't still launching fireworks randomly at 2 AM. This is such a weird drop. Like, you know, I know not everything has to be noted drops, and not every single drop from every single monster needs to be valuable. But it just seems weird for these risen ghosts to drop battle stabs. Like unnoted. Like I get it. I knew a lot of dragon weaponry had their special attacks reworked sometime late last year, but I had no idea they could still be useful without feeding it to an essence of finality. The dragon scimitar spec only costs 25% adrenaline and increases your accuracy with slash weapons by 25% for 60 seconds. You don't even need to keep the scimitar equipped. Even with an upgraded Darklight, you can still miss against Calgarian demons, but with the dragon scimitar buff, you never do. It's awesome. I found myself recasting the spec every 4 or so kills, so you don't even have to switch that much. The spec does have to hit to activate the buff, however. That's fine though, because the Dragon Scimitar spec has a 25% increased accuracy chance. During the whole task, I never saw the spec miss. I mean, it probably could, but I've never seen it. What I'm wondering is if the accuracy gain from the Dragon Scimitar outperforms the defense drop of the Statius Warhammer. It only affects slash weapons, but a lot of the high-level melee weapons are slash weapons. You got your Scythe, you got your Leng swords, you have your elite Tetsu swords. I mean, they're only tier 88, but they're still pretty decent. They're all slash. So if your main melee weapon is a slash weapon, it might be better to feed a Dragon Scimitar to your Essence of Finality instead of a Statius Warhammer. And it's certainly a lot easier to get. You just give a monkey 100k and it gives you a sword. As I was saying earlier, Hydrix dragons give a ton of Slayer XP. There used to be a method in ED2 where you leave the dungeon without killing all the dragons before a door, which causes them to respawn when you go back into the dungeon. Then you could farm tons of Slayer XP off them since they're slightly stronger than the Shiloh Village counterparts, so they give a bit more XP. I believe that was patched, but the Shiloh Village ones still give a lot of XP. 5,000 per kill. And it's the perfect excuse to use up some of my Jas Dragonbane arrows. The arrows are weakened since they're coming out of a tier 87 bow, but I think the passive effect makes them stronger than Ascensions. I was debating whether or not to use a Scrimshaw Sacrifice. It would increase the Slayer XP from 5 to 7.5k, but I would lose the loot in exchange. Yeah, the loot from Gemstone Dragons is pretty awful. It's mostly just disassembly fodder, but they also drop Gemstone armor. Dragonstone Dragons drop boots and gloves, Onyx drops the helm and legs, and Hydrix drops the chestplate. The armor itself isn't much to talk about, but they're in the Karamja Slayer collection log, and there's nothing I want less than to trade a piece of that armor for a lousy 2.5k extra XP. The armor is super rare, so it's unlikely I'd see a single piece even in 10 tasks, but the chance is still there, so I didn't use the Scrimshaw. Let's make those Powerbursts of Feats I talked about at the beginning of the video. 1.6k XP each. Got about 800 summoning potions for a quick and easy 1.3 million Herblore XP. It's amazing how fast Herblore is when you have the supplies just lying around. And speaking of fast XP, Penguin points. I've got 98 points to spend because, like I said earlier, more than 2 weeks worth of footage. For context, the last clip in the previous video was from June 11th. This clip here is from June 23rd. A little peek behind the curtain. The illusion is shattered, my channel is ruined. Anyway, that's another 1.234 million Herblore XP, and by making a bunch more sticky bombs, I got 119 Herblore. It may seem like I ran through level 118 really fast, but understand that I don't record everything. The daily challenges, the Dream of Aya, the occasional Dragonkin lamp from random effigy drops, it all adds up in the background. But now that we've got 119 Herblore, we can finally make Adrenaline Renewal potions using the +2 version of the recipe. 3-dose Super Adrenaline potion, a bottled Dinosaur Roar, an Arbok, and a Primal Extract. With more than 1400 Super Adrenaline potions, I should get, at minimum, 2.4 million Herblore XP by making these into Adrenaline Renewals. This isn't accounting for any potions saved by the Scroll of Efficiency. What's really wild is even though that's a lot of XP, and gathering the necessary supplies to make these potions took a while, long enough that I've been doing it passively for who knows how long, it's still only about a quarter of the XP I need to go from 119 to 120. You need almost 10 million XP for this one level. Exponential curves are wicked, man. So I'm sitting here training Herblore and somebody says to me, "Evening Ferris, how goes the comp grind?" And they said it the same instant I pressed teleport on the Wilderness Sword so I could go kill the King Black Dragon. Now, I don't know if this person wants their name on YouTube, so I'll just blur it. You probably know who you are, and I'm sorry that I didn't respond to you. It goes well. If you see the video here, then you know how it's going. And if you're not seeing the video, then yeah. With all the dust settled, I ended up making 1,772 Adrenaline Renewal potions. I'd say that's 3 million XP, but the modified Botanist Hood has a 5% chance to duplicate potions. I probably made about 1,680 potions that actually granted XP. 2.85 million XP. Still, it's a lot of XP, and still, it's just a fraction of what I need. What's really amazing is that it only took just over an hour to make all these potions. Really? Demon Slayer boots? Just give me the damn gloves already. I need to fill my hidey hole. Are you kidding me? This is why Iorwerth elves are better to kill than Kadarn. A whole squad kneeling at my feet. 119 Slayer, thank you, elf friends. I'm so glad I made Tetsu swords. When I was farming ED1 for 2 Sea-Singer upgrade kits, I had gotten 2 Tetsu upgrade kits as well. Almost immediately, actually, much to my chagrin. But having a tier 88 main and offhand for melee does come in handy sometimes. Great for living wyverns and Acheron mammoths, since you want to be in melee distance to reduce the damage taken from the former, and to prevent having your protection prayers knocked off from the latter. Although I usually just camp soul split for mammoths anyway. The Scrimshaw of Aggression method doesn't work too well against Luminous Snagglers. I can't kill them fast enough to avoid their special attack. Either I stay put and take a bunch of damage, making the task less AFK, or I move and avoid the damage, still making the task less AFK. They do drop a fair amount of white berries though, so if you need to make some defense potions, kill these guys. A lot of coconuts too. Oh ho ho! A Dwarf Multi-Cannon upgrade kit. That was the last one I needed. It doubles the damage output of the ranged version of your cannon, and it looks at least 60% more menacing. Shooting fireballs and shit, I love it. Whoops, Venomous Dinosaurs time. And look at that gorgeous cannon. What a sleek piece of craftsmanship. That it turns invisible when firing cannonballs is a bit odd, but I can work with that. So these dinosaurs only drop laceration boots at a 1 in 4,000 chance on task, but they only have 35,000 health, grant about 1400 Slayer XP each, and drop noted 2-dose weapon poison plus potions at a reasonable rate. Not enough that I'd recommend killing these guys to maintain your supply of weapon poisons, but enough to feel like you're walking away with something of value. They also drop noted irrits, good for making super anti-poisons, which you need for Elder Overload salves. It's all interwoven, man, it's all connected. This person logs in while I'm killing Salawa Ox. I've been here for a good 10 minutes, but they start killing anyway. Why do people do this? Because I'm a stubborn prick, I stood under them and just attacked all the Ox their aggression potions attracted. Minor Journal number 5 from a Ripper Demon. There are 6 different books dropped by Ripper Demons that you need to read for the Master Quest Cape. Each is guaranteed to drop after an increment of 200 Ripper kills, with the last one dropped at 1200. But you could also get lucky and get them early. It's a 1 in 100 drop chance, higher with the Lorehound summoned. Although 1200 Ripper Demons probably isn't too big of an ask, pretty sure people kill tens if not hundreds of thousands trying to get the pet. Oh, that's the Diary of Jebediah Omnis. Guess we won't be waiting until 1200 kills. Don't fear the Ripper. Cool. I was getting bored waiting for the Pyramid Ripper Demon to respawn after every kill, so I took the same Animate Dead setup to the mines east of Al-Kharid and killed the demons there. It worked out decently well, but frequently my Dragon Breath would aggro more than one. The damage isn't the problem. With Protect from Melee and Animate Dead, the damage is pretty minute, but they stand on top of each other, so you can only see the adrenaline bar of one of the demons. If the demon standing under the other demon gets full adrenaline and does its jump attack, you'll have no real way of knowing until it either triggers your Defense Cape's Sign of Life perk or it kills you. Pretty annoying. No amount of Ripper Claw drops will make it any less annoying, but I do appreciate it. This magic method didn't really work out too well. Melee with a Scrimshaw of Vampirism in the southern room is much easier, and I believe it's also faster. That's melee with an upgraded Darklight, by the way. Undead task? Well, I do need a Revenant soul. Got it. I also need a Skeletal Wyvern soul, and they do count as undead, so... and I got that one as well. What about Spiritual Mages? Listen, I'm just trying to make the most of this undead task, alright? The amount of XP you get for turning in souls the first time isn't trivial, so it's worth it, probably. Gotcha. I never have the replay buffer running when something good happens, but damn it if I'm not going to miss something stupid. Prayer drops, Defense Cape procs, dies. Blowpipe Fins from Venomous Dinosaurs. Very rare drop, and of course it's the piece I already had in the collection log. Dupes all day, baby. Oh my god, finally. A living Wyvern soul. This was the last of the 4 raptor monsters I needed to catch. Although I guess of the 4 raptor monsters, it's better to go dry here than at the Sand Glaciers. I wanted a gemstone dragon for my pyramids so badly. That's why I used a corrupt Ushabti to catch one. Oh yeah, I got more cursed Masket sand from a Ripper Demon task. Forgot to mention it. My thinking was I could stand close enough to its spawn location with a Scrimshaw of Aggression so it would attack me as soon as it spawns, so I could AFK them without having to worry about the special attack. They don't use their special attack if you stay within melee range. The problem, however, is that the Scrimshaw doesn't do that. The dragon spawns and immediately starts to walk away. And I guess the Scrimshaw must have some kind of heartbeat because it doesn't aggro things immediately. It seems to take a second or two. My plan's a bust, but I don't feel like I wasted the Masket sand. Gemstone dragons are one of the few Slayer monsters most people recommend using the sand for. High Slayer requirement, lots of health. Takes a while to kill hundreds of these. The 50% increased catch rate is worth it. I stopped slaying after this mammoth task. At this point, I was pretty close to 120. I know, right? Seems so fast. Well, that's not only the power of editing, but also the power of skipping bad tasks. I prioritized tasks that gave a lot of XP, or gave a lot of XP per hour, although typically if a task is one, it's both. Slayer is surprisingly well balanced considering how abysmal it was when it was first increased to 120. Now there's a wide variety of post-99 creatures that aren't a slog to kill like Sand Glaciers. For perspective, that Desert Strikeworm task was task 1776, This mammoth task was task 1827. During the strikeworm task, I was already less than 13 million XP away from 120. But even if we were to assume I was exactly 13 million away, it's an average of about 260,000 XP per task. That's actually pretty reasonable if you're not bothering with Fire Lords, Dagonauts, and Ice Strikeworms. Slayer's surprisingly quick if you put your nose to the grindstone and just get it done. But we're not going to get 120 yet. Let's pause and move on to Herblore. Actually, let's pull back a bit for a second. Here's the loot from the last 99 Slayer, or whatever the hell gimmick I was going for. About 7 mil in Alks and Salvage, and 16 mil in raw GP. For some reason, the price checker was being all weird and not putting the money in. Whatever, so exciting. Alright, now Herblore. I still had some inert adrenaline crystals in my bank. At first, I didn't want to make them ert because it was basically no XP, and I didn't have the super energies or the papayas regardless, so the extra adrenaline crystals wouldn't matter. But with how much XP I got from those adrenaline renewals, I was jonesing for more. I did plant some papaya trees about 10 million Slayer XP ago and work them into my herb runs, but I wasn't getting nearly enough papayas. I needed a quick source of hundreds, and that's when I remembered Fruit Bats, with a scroll that spawns random fruit in a 3x3 area centered on your player character. It can spawn up to 8 pieces of fruit, but usually you only get 2. Most of the fruit is useless, oranges, limes, pineapple, but sometimes you get papaya. And here's the best part, you can auto-fire the scrolls. Hand over 500 fruit fall scrolls to your bat, set the auto-fire rate to 1, and you can just sit back and wait. Unfortunately, familiars have energy. They can only cast their scrolls so many times before they have to wait for their energy to replenish. I found that a full bar of energy spawned about 10 papayas, give or take 2 or 3. Summoning potions do restore your familiar's energy, but I used all my summoning potions making Powerbursts of Feats. That was fine though, because I had an idea. After collecting several hundred Mortmire fungus the traditional way with a blessed sickle, and withdrawing a bunch of unfinished Avanto potions from my partial potion producer, I got to work making super energy potions, and I did this in a location where you cannot cast Fruitfall. With the bat summoned and unable to cast, its energy accumulated back to full while I made super energy potions. When its energy reached its max, I ran out of the bank, let it piss out all of its energy, gathered up the fruit, and went back to making super energies. When I ran out of Avanto potions, I made some super anti-poison potions just to pass the time while my fruit bat replenished its fruit glands. With enough papaya and super energies, I made adrenaline potions, then made super adrenaline potions with the adrenaline crystals that I had already made uninert. I ended with almost 900 super adrenaline potions, good enough for another 1.5 million Herblore XP. And remember, I also got 117 XP for the super energies, 200 for the adrenaline, and 200 for the super adrenalines. Not a lot on their own, but it adds up. After making all those renewals, I still had some super energies left over and some Arbucks, so I thought, why not make some Powerbursts of Acceleration? It might be useful somewhere down the line, right? To make them, you need a stamina potion, an energy potion, not super, spark chitin, and a primal extract. To make a stamina potion, you need a 3-dose super energy and an unfinished Arbuck potion. Lots of work goes into making Powerbursts of Acceleration, but at least they give 1500 XP each. After making about 100 of those, I returned to Chuck with more penguin points. This footage was recorded on June 28th, just after weekly reset. How are you getting so many penguin points in one video, you may ask? With a reset ticket, you can get about 45 to 50 points per week. This video contains 3 weeks worth of points. How can that be if this is only about 2 weeks worth of footage? Well, it's actually been a bit more than 2 weeks, starting on June 12th, just before weekly reset, so even though this video spans about 16 days, it crosses over 3 weekly resets. I spent a good 15 minutes trying to figure out how to word that explanation, like I'm afraid I'll get caught cheating. These lamps got me just as close to 120 Herblore as I am to 120 Slayer, but there's still one thing we gotta do, Barbarian Assault. We need a music track. It wasn't until July 1st that I actually found a group to go to Barbarian Assault with. Thank you, Achievement Help Discord. A while back, Jagex changed how you get the music track for Trouble Brewing, so you don't actually need people to play the game to get it. Barbarian Assault isn't as dead as Trouble Brewing, but it's basically a ghost town. Maybe it's more populated when it's spotlighted, but that's not going to be happening again until August 10th. So I needed to find a group now because August 10th, for those unaware, is after August 7th. Crazy, isn't it? If I want to comp before Necromancy, I can't wait until it's spotlighted. Now all I need to do is get the last bits of XP for 120 Herblore and Slayer and I'll be comped. This is going to be difficult, but I want to try to comp like an hour before this video goes live. That way I get the message in game, I have the recorded clip, and I can just tack it on to the end of the video, render it, and upload it, and hopefully I can do it fast enough. You'll know if I succeed, so let's get to it. Okay, we're less than 1000 XP away from 120 Slayer and 120 Herblore. I have a Gargoyle Soul. We're going to throw it into the chest of souls. We're going to teleport to the Varrock Museum. And then we're going to make an overload. And then we're going to buy the cape. So, add to the chest of souls. Oh, it's a dust devil, not a gargoyle. Never mind. That's 120 Slayer. Let's go to the Varrock Museum. Comp soon. Kinda. Highest possible total level. Oh, the fireworks. 5 mil. Yeah. And there we go. Comp. Nice. Look at that. Looks so good. Dragon. Nice. First time I've ever comped. And it was on an Ironman. We comped before Necromancy released. Next time, Necromancy preparation.